So we are on chapter 15, part 2, which is called A God Buys Us Hamburgers. That's what it's called. The sun was sinking behind the mountain by the time we found the water park. Judging from the sign, it had been called Waterland. But now sometime the letters were smashed out, so it looked like what? Rad. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, huge dry water slides and tubes and pipes curled everywhere, leading to empty pools. Old tickets and advertisements fluttered around the asphalt. With night coming on, the place looked sad and creepy. Sorry. If Aries brings his girlfriend here on a date, I said, staring at the barbed wire, I'd hate to see what she looked like. Percy, Annabeth said, be more respectful. Why? I thought you hated Aries. He's still a god, and his girlfriend is very temperamental. You don't want to insult her. You don't want to insult her looks, Grover added. Who is she, Echidna? No, Aphrodite, Grover said, a little dreamily. The goddess of love. I thought she was married to somebody, I said. What's your point? He said. Oh, I suddenly felt the need to change the subject. So how do we get in? Maya! Grover's shoes sprouted wings. He flew over the fence, did an unintended somersault in midair, and stumbled to a landing on the opposite side. He dusted off the jeans as if he'd planned the whole thing. You guys coming? Annabeth and I had to climb the old-fashioned way, holding down the barbed wire for each other as we crawled over the top. The shadows grew long as we walked through the park, checking for attractions. There was Ankle Biter Island, Head Over Wedgie, and Dude, Where's My Swimsuit? No monsters came to get us. Nobody made the slightest noise. We found a souvenir shop that had been left open. Merchandise still lined the shelves. Snow globes, pencils, postcards, and racks of clothes. Annabeth said, fresh clothes. Yeah, I said, but you can't just watch me. She snatched the entire row of stuff off the rack and disappeared into a changing room. A few minutes later, she came out in a Waterland flower print shorts, a big red Waterland t-shirt, and commemorative Waterland surf shoes. A Waterland backpack was slung over her shoulders, obviously stuffed with more goodies. What the heck? Grover shrugged. Soon all three of us were decked out like a walking advertisement for the defunct theme park. We continued searching for the Tunnel of Love. I got the feeling that the whole park was holding its breath. So Aries and Aphrodite, I said, to keep my mind off the growing thing. They have a thing going on? That's old gossip, Percy, Annabeth told me. 3,000-year-old gossip. What about Aphrodite's husband? Well, you know, Hepatitis, the blacksmith. He was crippled when he was a baby, thrown off Mount Olympus by Zeus. So he isn't exactly handsome. He's clever with his hands and all, but Aphrodite isn't into brains and talent, you know? Oh, she likes bikers. Whatever. Hepatitis knows? Oh, sure, Annabeth said. He caught them together once. I mean, literally caught them in a golden net and invited all the gods to come and laugh at them. Hepatitis is always trying to embarrass them. That's why they meet in out-of-the-way places. Like, she stopped looking straight ahead. Like that. In front of us was an empty pool that looked like it would be awesome for skateboarding. It was at least 50 yards across and shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, a dozen bronze statues of Cupid stood guard, with wings spread and bows ready on fire. On the opposite side of us, a tunnel opened up. Probably where the water flowed into the pool was full. The sign read above, Thrill Ride of Love. This is not your parents' tunnel of love. Grover crept to the edge. Guys, look! Marooned by the bottom of the pool was a pink and white two-seated boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted all over it. In the left seat, glinting in the fading light, was Aries' shield, a polished circle of bronze. This is too easy, I said. So we just walk down there and get it? Annabeth ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter carved here, she said. Ada, I wonder. Grover, I said, you smell any monsters? Nothing like in the arch. You didn't smell a echidna, nothing, or nothing really. Grover looked hurt. I told you that was underground. Okay, I'm sorry. I took a deep breath. I'm gonna go down there. I'll go with you. Grover didn't sound too enthusiastic, but I got the feeling he was trying to make up for what had happened in St. Louis. No, I told him. I want you to stay up top with the flying shoes. You're the Red Baron, a flying ace, remember? I'll be counting on you for backup in case if something goes wrong. Grover puffed up his chest a little. Sure, but what could go wrong? I don't know, just a feeling. Annabeth, come with me. Are you kidding? She looked at me as if I dropped the moon. Her cheeks were bright red. What's the problem now? Me? Go with you? The thrill ride of love? How embarrassing is that? What if someone saw me? Who's going to see you? My face was burning now. Leave it to the girl to make everything complicated. Fine, I told her I'll do it myself. But when I stared down into the pool, she followed me, muttering about how boys always messed things up. We reached the boat. The shield was propped on one seat, and next to it was a lady's silk scarf. I tried to imagine Ares and Aphrodite here, a couple of gods meeting in a junked-out amusement park ride. Why? Then I noticed something I hadn't seen at the top. Mirrors all the way around the rim of the pool, facing the spot. We could see ourselves no matter what direction we looked. That must be it. While Ares and Aphrodite were smooching with each other, they could look at their favorite people themselves. I picked up the scarf. It shimmered pink, and the perfume was indescribable rose or mountain laurel, something good. I smiled a little dreamy and was about to rub the scarf against my cheek when Annabeth ripped it out of my hand and stuffed it in her pocket. Oh, no, you don't. Stay away from that love magic. What? Just get the shield, Seaweed Brain, and let's get out of here. The moment I touched the shield, I knew we were in trouble. My hand broke through something that had been connected to the dashboard, a cobweb. I thought, but then I looked at a strand on my palm and saw it was some kind of metal filament. So fine with the most invisible, a tripwire. Wait, Annabeth said, too late. There's another Greek letter on the side of the boat, another Ada. This is a trap! Noise erupted all around us, a million gears grinding as if the whole pool were turning in one giant machine. Grover yelled, guys! Up on the rim, the Cupid statues were drawing their bows into firing position. Before I could suggest taking cover, they shot, but not at us. They fired at each other across the rim of the pool. Silky cables trailed from the arrows, arcing over the pool and anchoring where they landed to form a huge golden asterisk. Their smaller metallic threads started weaving together magically between the main strands, making a net. We have to get out. Duh! Annabeth said. I grabbed the shield as we ran, but going up the slope on the pool was not as easy as going down. Come on! Grover shouted at us. He was trying to hold open the section of the net for us, but whatever we touched it, the golden thread started to wrap around his hands. The Cupid's heads popped open. Out came video cameras. Spotlights rose all around the pool, blinding us with illuminations, and a loudspeaker voice boomed, Live to Olympus in 1 minute, 59 seconds, 58. Hepatitis, Annabeth screamed. I'm so stupid. The H, it's a trap to catch his wife with Ares. Now we're going to broadcast it live to Olympus and look like absolute fools. We'd almost made it to the rim when the row of mirrors opened like hatches of thousands of tiny metallic things poured out. Annabeth screamed. It was an army wind-up, creepy Crowley's bronze gear body, spindly legs, and printer mouths all spreaded through the cracking, whirling metal. 1 second. Spiders! Annabeth said, spiders! I'd never seen her like this before. She fell backward in terror and almost got overwhelmed by the spider robots before I pulled her up and dragged her back toward the boat. The things were coming out from all around the rim, now millions of them, flooding toward the center of the pool, completely surrounding us. I told myself they weren't programmed to kill, just corral us and bite us and make us look stupid. Then again, this was a trap meant for gods, and we were not gods. Annabeth and I climbed into the boat, I started kicking away the spiders as they swarmed aboard. I yelled at Annabeth to help me, but she was too paralyzed to do much more than scream. 30, 39, 29, called the loudspeaker. The spiders started spitting out strands of metal thread, trying to tie us down. The strands were easy enough to break at first, but there were so many of them, and the spiders just kept coming. I kicked one away from Annabeth's side, and the pinchers, took a chunk out of the new surf shoe. Grover hovered above the pool in the flying sneakers, trying to pull the net loose, but it wouldn't budge. Think, I told myself. Think. The Tunnel of Love entrance was under the net. We could use it as an exit, except that it was blocked by a million robot spiders. 15, 14, the loudspeaker called. Water, I thought. Where does the ride's water come from? Then I saw them, huge water pipes behind the mirrors where the spiders had come from. And up above the net, next to one of the cupids, a glass windowed booth that must have been the controller station. Grover! I yelled, get into the booth, find the on switch. Do it! It was a crazy hope, but it was our only choice. The spiders were all over the prow of the boat now. Annabeth was screaming her head off. I had to get us out of here. Grover was in the controller's booth now, slamming away at the buttons. 5, 4. Grover looked up at me hopelessly, raising his hand. He was letting me know that he'd pushed every button, but still nothing happened. I closed my eyes and thought about the waves, rushing water, the Mississippi River. I felt a familiar tug in my gut. I tried to imagine that I was dragging the ocean all the way to Denver. 2, 1, 0. Water exploded out of the pipes. It roared into the pool, sweeping away the spiders. I pulled Annabeth into the seat next to me and fastened her seatbelt, just like the tidal waves slammed into our boat. Over the top, whisking the spiders away and dousing us completely, but not capsizing us. The boat turned, lifted in the flood, and spun in circles around the whirlpool. The water was full of short-circuiting spiders, some of them smashing against the pool's concrete wall with such force that burst. Spotlights glared down at us. The Cupid cams were rolling live to Olympus, but I could only concentrate on controlling the boat. I willed it to ride the current, to keep away from the wall. Maybe it was just my imagination, but the boat seemed to respond. At least it didn't break into a million pieces. We spun around one last time. The water level was now high enough to shred us against the metal net. Then the boat's nose turned toward the tunnel, and we rocketed through the darkness. Annabeth and I held tight, both of us screaming as the boat shot curls and hugged corners and took 45-degree plunges past pictures of Romeo and Juliet and a bunch of Valentine's Day stuff. Then we were out of the tunnel, the night air whistling through our hair as the boat barreled straight toward the exit. If the ride had been in working order, we would have sailed off a ramp between the golden gates of love and splashed down safely in the exit pool. But there was a problem. The gates of love were chained. 2 boats that had been washed out of the tunnel before us were now piled against a barricade. One submerged, the other one cracked in half. Unfasten your seatbelt, I yelled to Annabeth. Are you crazy? Unless you want to get smashed to death. I strapped Aries' shield to my arm. We're going to have to jump for it. My idea was simple and insane. As the boat struck, we would use its force to springboard to jump over the gate. I'd heard of people surviving car crashes that way, getting thrown 30 or 40 feet away from the accident. With luck, we would land in the pool. Annabeth seemed to understand. She gripped my hand as the gates got closer. On my mark, I said, no, on my mark. What? Simple physics, she said. Force times the trajectory angle. Fine, I shouted, on your mark. She hesitated, then yelled, oh. Annabeth was right. If we jumped when I thought we should have, we would have crashed into the gate. She got the maximum lift. Unfortunately, that was a little more than we needed. Our boat smashed into the pileup, and we were thrown into the air, straight over the gates, over the pool, and down toward solid asphalt. Something grabbed me from behind. Annabeth yelled, ouch! Grover, in midair, he had grabbed us by the shirt and Annabeth by the arm and was pulling us from a crash landing. Annabeth and I had all the momentum. You're too heavy, Grover said. We're going down. We spiraled toward the ground, Grover doing his best to slow the fall. We smashed into the photo board, Grover's head going straight into the hole where tourists would put their faces, pretending to be Nunu, the friendly wolf. Annabeth and I tumbled to the ground, banged up but alive. Aries' shield was still on my arm. Once we caught our breath, Annabeth and I got Grover out of the photo board and thanked him for saving our lives. I looked back at the Thrill of Love ride. The water was subsiding. Our boat had been smashed into a million pieces by the gate. 100 yards away, at the entrance of the pool, the Cupids were still filming. The statues had swiveled so that their cameras were trained straight on us, the spotlight on our faces. Show's over, I yelled. Thank you and good night. The Cupids turned back to their original position. The lights turned off. The park went quiet and dark again, except for the gentle trickle of water in the Thrill Ride of Love's exit pool. I wondered if Olympus had gone to the commercial break or if our rating had been any good. I hated being teased. I hated being tricked, and I had plenty of experience handling bullies who liked to do that stuff to me. I hefted the shield on my arm and turned to my friends. We need to have a little talk with Aries.